Good morning. I am Stampin' Dee Dee with Stampin' Dee Dee's Doings, and we're here today on Stampin' Thursday, and it is stepped up stamping. So we're going to start with a basic sketch and work through making several cards as we step them up. I have been sick for almost a week, and I'm just getting to the point where I have the energy to do this, and hopefully I can get through it without coughing. But if I do, please just bear with me and know that my husband says I'm getting better because I'm coughing so much. So I hope that's the case. Anyway, all right. So, stepped up stamping. What we do is we look at a sketch, and you can find multiple sketches on the internet. On Pinterest, just Google card sketches, and there will be more sketches come up than you know what to do with. And I try to pick one that offers a little bit of interest and a little bit of flexibility. And so this is the sketch that I picked for today. And actually the stamp set that I'm going to use with this sketch is called Inspirational Sketches. You know, when you begin, you're a beginner card maker or new card maker, or even a long-time card maker like me, sometimes a stamp set that's just a stamp set can offer you so many possibilities. And especially if you're new, you don't have the die-cut machines, and so you need something that will benefit you, and sets that are just stamps offer you the best option. And this set is a wonderful set. The images are beautifully done. They're clear. They're dimensional. And you've got 3 different choices. You've got the flowers, the mushrooms, or the bird. And then it also includes a little background stamp. This stamp right here, a little background stamp. And for a beginner especially, this offers lots of possibilities. The sentiments, thank you for everything, grateful for you, and enjoy the journey, are great sentiments to use with these images. So this is the stamp set that we're going to use. It's a cling stamp set, and it is in the I think it's in the main catalog. Gosh, let me look. Why didn't I look at that? Sometimes I just get carried away with what I'm doing, and I don't think about those things. Okay, it's in the mini catalog, the small catalog. So it can be ordered through April. So if you like what you see, and this bird, isn't that bird gorgeous? If you like what you see, then you might want to grab this while it's still available. So I'm going to set it aside now, and we're going to look at this, and I'm going to show you a basic card. If you're a new card maker, you probably haven't accumulated a lot of things, and you might just have some cardstock and maybe a stamp set like that, Inspirational Sketches. And you might not have much more. So we're going to make use of those. You also probably have a few colors of ink, but you haven't invested in stamping blends yet, or the dies and the die cut machine. So we're going to take basic cardstock. We're going to take crumb cake and boho blue and Highland heather, and we're actually going to stick really close to this sketch with that. But on this piece, we used that background stamp to create just a little bit of interest. It would be this stamp right here. And we just stamped around with dark ink, whatever dark ink you may have. I stamped around to create a little bit of interest on my boho blue. And then I don't have Stampin' blends yet, but I do have some ink, and I bought a package of daubers just to have them. So I just took my Highland Heather ink or any of the purples, the Blackberry Bliss or Fresh Freesia, any of them would work. And I just used my dauber and I swapped some color onto my image. And I actually cut this with a punch. I bought some circle punches so I'd have some variety of shapes to use. And this is the largest circle punch. I think it's the 2 3/8 circle punch. So I stamped my image with black ink, and then I punched it out with my circle punch, and I layered it on top of my boho blue and my Highland Heather. I stamped my sentiment right down here, and there you go. I have a card ready to go. So this is a basic card, and we followed this sketch really closely. I do want to say here that when you use a sketch, it's just a trigger for your creativity. You can turn it around, upside down. You can change the sizes. You can add other things. The sketch is just to trigger your creativity. But as a new card maker, I'm probably going to follow it pretty closely. And that's what we did here. Sorry. So then we're going to take this same card right here, and we're going to step it up just a little bit. And we did that by cutting the same size boho blue, which was 3.5 by 4. But then I cut a piece of crumb cake to go on top of the boho blue, and it was just like an 1/8 of an inch smaller. And I used my background stamp, only I put more of it. I thought it needed a little more on the background, and so I did that. And I have accumulated just a couple of packages of designer series paper, and one of them is that perennial lavender, and oh, I do love that paper. So I cut a piece of that and put it on top of my Highland Heather cardstock. I decided to put my sentiment on a piece of boho blue instead of down here, and I used dimensionals. I bought me a package of dimensionals, and I used my dimensionals on my sentiment and on my image. And instead of just a swipe of color, I used my dauber, the same ink, and I daubed right over each flower just to give it a little color over each flower. And I have bought a little bit of twine, so I used some linen twine right here to dress that up just a little bit. So you can see I've stepped it up from this card to this card. All right. And now for the third card, this is a beginner and a casual. And now we're going to move to the more avid card maker. And this would be someone who has accumulated Stampin' blends and dies and more paper and just branched out some more embellishments. So let's set these aside. I'm going to set this aside, and we're going to do this one together. And I've accumulated a variety of things to use. I've still got my basic cardstock, my crumb cake cardstock, and I'm looking for my bone folder. There it is. So I'm going to go ahead and fold my cardstock. But I think, no, we're good. I thought I might turn it, but I don't think I'll do that. I want to stay true to these two cards, not get too far away from that. So I've got my boho blue, but instead of just cutting it, I'm going to use a die from my die set, Deckled Rectangles. And I'm going to use one of the dies from that set to cut out my rectangle, my boho blue. So I'm just going to take it right over here for a minute and run it through my die cut machine. I could have moved it over there, but I didn't. All right. Here we go. So now I have this to go right there. I'm going to keep my blue in case I need it again. Put my die over here so I won't lose it. All right, and I think I'm going to use a die from my Color and Contour from this set to cut an edge. Oh, is that the one I want to use? Yeah, I'll use this one right here. This will cut a nice edge. So for that centerpiece, I'm going to back it with the purple, and I see I've used a scrap here, so I'm going to trim that off. But I'm also going to take this piece of pattern paper, and I'm going to use this die to give it a scalloped edge. And I don't want it to be very wide. So I'm going to run this through. I'll make sure it's not too wide. Okay. Run that one through. So I need to snip it free here, and I'll go ahead and snip it here. I don't need my but isn't that pretty what that does? So I'm just going to add it to this. Put my scrap over here and my die over here. I think I'm just going to add it to the top just to give it that scalloped look. So I'm going to get my glue. Put a little on the back. The back's pretty too, but I think I want the brighter pattern. I'll put it right at the top, all the way down. And I know that this is 4 1/4. So I don't make a mistake, I'm going to go ahead and measure my 4 1/4 here and cut it. And that way I know it's right. There we go. All right, but I instead of this piece, I've decided to use pattern paper here. I thought it would really look pretty with this pattern. And I'm going to use this. This is a die from another die from Color and Contour. Another die from this set. There's so many awesome dies in this set, and it's one of these. So I'm going to go ahead and use it. Cut out a piece of this. As an avid stamper, I use dies a lot. I love my dies. I love the look that my dies give to my work. All right, there we go. And I'm going to go ahead and put this die in here since I've got it right here. And put it away. Okay. All right. And so this is beginning to take shape. All right. So I think I want to cut this off. I don't think I want it hanging down, even though it could. It could hang down. But I think I want to cut it off. So I'm going to cut it off right. Bring my trimmer up here. And I'm going to cut it right here. That ought to work. I haven't glued it down yet, so. Okay, I think I'll go ahead and glue this piece on. I'm sorry. I'm trying not to cough. All right, I'm going to glue that one down right there. And this one is going to go right on top of it. So I'm going to glue this one down. I'm going to use a dimensional on my image in my sentiment, so I decided not to use dimensionals on this. All right, right there. Even on all sides. Now, I am going to use dimensionals on this. So I'll go ahead and put that down. All right. And I'm going to put it right here. Sort of at the bottom of that piece. Make sure it's even, and it is. Great. All right. So we've got that much done. And now for our image. And I've already stamped it. And I stamped it on the crumb cake. And it's going to go right there. But I want to do some coloring with this. So I'm bringing my stamping blends. And I'm going to use Highland Heather and lemon lime or granny apple green. And just a little bit of pecan pie for the center. So I'm going to start with the dark for the blooms, and I'm going to do it close to the base. I like to start with the dark and blend with the light. Different people do it different ways. And however you decide to do it, whatever works best for you is what you need to go with. I'm going to color this dark where that's folded over. And I'm not doing precise coloring. I'm going to blend it, and so it's going to, a lot of petals on this bloom. I'm going to go up that with the dark. There. I'm going to go up that with the dark. Anywhere it's folded over, you want to make it darker so it looks shaded. All right, I think I got all the little petals except maybe that one right there. And this one right here. Okay, and now I'm going to take my light brush tip and I'm going to swipe it up. I'm going to pull the color out, pull that dark up. Pull it up. And it should get to where you don't really see that line. And that's the goal, is for it to just gradually go from dark to light. Not sure that was, I think that might have been a leaf. Yeah, I think that might have been a leaf, but that's okay. We made it a petal. It's kind of hard to tell sometimes which ones are leaves and which ones are petals. Okay, I'm pulling the color up just a tad bit on each one of these petals. I love coloring. I don't know about you. Do you love coloring? I really enjoy it. And if you're watching this live, I love it when you comment and let me know you're there. I look for your comments. If you're watching the replay, I love to hear your comment as well. Did this help you? Was it something you were interested in? As well as YouTube, on YouTube. Oh, there's one right there. All right. So we've pretty much got that one done. So I think what I'll do is make this one light. Just make it light all the way around. Make all the petals on it light. It's kind of up in the sun, so I think it will not have the shadows that these other two. Then I'm going to go back to this one with some dark. So I'm not going to go on around that right now because I want to move to the leaves. And the leaves I'm going to start with, now I'm just going to do the leaves with the light. And anywhere down here where there appears to be a leaf, I'm just going to come along and it's a leaf. And this green around the buds, the green, and the stem, and the stem, and here's some stems. And the buds are going to be purple. All right. I was going to use the brown for the center. These look like cone flowers, echinacea. All right, and with the magic, oh, and I also want to use, I'm going to use Pebbled Path and a splatter stamp. Let me put just a piece of paper here and put a little splatter, just a little bit, to give this some, right there. There. Maybe here. There we go. Just a little bit of added dimension on that. And with the magic of recording, I'm going to bring in one that I've already finished so we can move on with our project. All right. So we have this ready to go. And we're going to use dimensionals on it. And I want to put some greenery around the top. So I'm going to go real easy with the dimensionals on the top. Yeah, I'm going to just put one for right now. If I need to go back and add one, I will underneath. But for now, I'm going to center this as best I can. Okay. And I just grabbed a bunch of greenery that I've got. I keep all the extra pieces. So let me see. I'm just playing around right now. See what I can get this to look like. I don't need this really anymore. I could even stick a blue one in there. Maybe one more purple one right in here. Yeah. I like that. Okay, I'm going to use these. They're not going to look the same as they just did, but it'll be close. So I'm going to just put a little bit of blue right here. This will be the main one, the biggest one. And I'm going to center it right there. And I think I want the blue to go right close to that. Because I kind of want the blue to be in the background. This paddle might help to get them down a little bit without ruining the dimension. Okay, I'm going to put this in. This piece actually came off of Timeless Arrangements, and I had some left over, and so I just cut them apart and stuck them in my container, my odds and ends pieces container. But I think I'm going to cut that part off. It's all I don't want the dimensional is right where I want to put this, so I don't want to have to push it down too far, because I want to put it right there, and I think that's right where the dimensional is. And then I'm going to do one more green. Maybe right in there, and I'm going to cut it down too. I think the dimensional is there. Okay. There we go. I like that. All right, I think we're good. I don't think I need any more of these. All right, so we need a sentiment piece. So I'm just going to use this blue. You know what? I think I'll stamp my sentiment first before I trim it down. So my sentiment is grateful for you. And I'll use the pebbled path that I used on the rest of the card. And where's that piece of paper? I always like to stamp it once to make sure I don't have something caught on it. Grateful for you. There we go. Now, I'll bring in my trimmer. Trim this down to size. Okay. Didn't quite get that even. Not sure why. There. That did it. Leave a little piece there. Thinking I can still trim a little bit off the top. Up. That didn't work. See if I can get it to go. There. Okay. It's pretty good. I'm going to banner my ends. You just snip in the middle, cut to the snip. Okay. And I'll use dimensionals again for this piece. And I think I'll put it right up here maybe. Oh, look, I've got a little place that the trimmer didn't quite get. And there. There. Still there. All right. Put this right up here. Now all we have left are it's our twine. My twine is coming apart, coming off the roll. So I'm having to be real careful with them. I think I've got enough for 2 bows. I want a double bow. Oop, I think I hit the camera. Yeah. Okay. Need to just rewind my twine, don't I? these ends together. Straighten this out a little bit. Straighten it a little bit more. And now I'm ready to make my double bow. And I'm going just to tie it. I doubled my string. So now I'm just going to tie this. I'm going to get these ends down where they should be. Tie this like a regular bow. Only it's going to be double because I doubled my twine. Twine is easy to do that with, and it works really well. Okay. Pull my bows apart. All right. Trim this one. And I'm going to put it right here. I'm going to tighten it just a little bit. There. I'm going to use glue dots. Put it on the back of my twine bow. I'm going to put my bow right here. Right here. Pull my bows apart. Got my string. Now, all we need are some gems. These. Because I've used the lavender, I'm going to use these purple fine shimmer gems. And I've got all three different colors. Berry Burst, Gorgeous Grape, and Highland Heather. And I think I'm going to use maybe the Gorgeous Grape because it seems to be a little bit darker. So I'm going to put one of them right here. One of them right down here. And I think I'm going to put one of them right here. There we go. All right. I think we did it. I think I'm done. I can't think of anything else that I would want to do to that, but we definitely stepped it up, didn't we? We definitely. Oh, you know what? Well, I don't have, let me look. I'm going to get a piece of Very Vanilla. I think I have one in here. Yep. For the inside. I'm going to get my color and contour back out. My scalloped edge. Get that back out real quick. And I can reverse this one piece that I'd already done. I'll reverse cut it. Okay. Now, to get my trimmer started, because I'm hurrying. Okay. So I have cut it. I'm going to trim it here. And trim it off here. Make good use of that one piece. Now I'm going to put this right along the edge here for the inside. Probably be a little bit too long, so I'm going to do it on this edge. I'm going to put it right on the edge. and trim it. There, now we have our inside ready to go. I usually put my flap under the rubber band, and as you can see, I'm in a hurry, so I didn't, but it's going to work just fine. Now we have a place to write a note to our friends and get this moved over before it seals. Move it over a little more. All right. There we go. All right. And now we have, what do I have, a piece of paper? Yeah. Now, we have got our 3 cards from a sketch. Our basic card with just cardstock and a little bit of ink and our stamp set. And then we stepped it up by adding layering a piece of cardstock here and layering some pattern paper here. Instead of stamping our cinnamon on the card, we stamped it separate and popped that up and added a little bit of twine. And then for our Avid card, we used dies for our layered pieces, added more pattern paper, added some greenery. We colored in our flowers and added some speckles. We die cut our pattern paper here and added some gems and put our bow right here. We stepped it up, all using this sketch. So let me move these down a little bit so you can see. I hope that encourages you to, first of all, take a stamp set, just a stamp set. Oh. Okay, I do want to show you a couple more samples. Oh, I'm glad I didn't forget that. So this stamp set had the flowers that we used. It had mushrooms. So I did one using this sketch with mushrooms. Here for you now and in better days ahead. I just think that's so important to friends that are hurting. So those mushrooms, they stamp off beautifully. All the shading and all the distinctive stamps add the shading. You don't have to do anything to it. Isn't that pretty? So there's that one. And then I also used the bird and turned it sideways. Layered my center, but didn't overlap them quite the same way. And instead of the piece at the bottom, I put the ribbon and the stalk, the stem, the tree branch at the bottom. All right. So that's just some ways that you can take this sketch and take these dies and use them. So let me try to get all of this up here. So our basic, our casual, and our stepped up to avid, all from the sketch. All right. Thank you for watching, for bearing with me. I hope I've encouraged you to take one of your stamp sets and use it and look up sketches on the internet and find one that you think you can employ and have fun with that. All right. Enjoy this beautiful weather if you're in the Texas area. And I hope wherever you are that you're having really pretty weather right now too. Thank you for being here with Stampin' Dee Dee for Stampin' Thursday. stepped up stamping. God bless. Bye-bye.